Alright, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning. So today we are going to cover a new chapter, which is referring to content 9 in our course info. And in the textbook, it is on chapter 16, which is on effective communication. So these are some of the learning objectives that we are going to fulfill. But at the end of this chapter, we should be able to explain why effective communication helps an organization gain a competitive advantage, the communication process, and then a few of important elements when it comes to communication, and then the communication networks, and then in terms of the role of technology in managing communications, and describe important communication skills that managers need as senders and as well as receivers. So first thing first, when we talk about communication, communication is the sharing of information between two or more individuals or groups to reach a common understanding. And the communication is the key to the successful implementation of any strategy in the organization. This is because sometimes the formulation part is being done by a different group of people, and then when it comes to the implementation of the strategy will be carried out by a different group of individuals. So how are we going to ensure that the action part, the action team of that particular strategy would have a full understanding in terms of what is the vision and mission of the top management? So it all lies on the effective communication that you can build up within the system in your organization. The importance of good communication would increase efficiency in new technologies, new technologies and skills. And then importance of good communication also will improve quality of products and services, increase responsiveness to customers, and then more innovation through communication. So with the level of technologies that we have nowadays, of course, the innovation part of the organization can be done through an effective communication channel that you can develop. So that's why communication is very important in the organization. So after all, if you are able to make sure that your team would have a clear understanding in terms of what are the things that needs to be done, it is going to be very difficult for you to get the outcome that you expect them to deliver. So it all lies on how well you can deliver and communicate with your team members or with your staff or with your subordinates or even with your colleagues. And in previous chapters also, we have discussed in terms of different level of organizational structure, different types of organizational structure being implemented in the organization. So we need to be able to develop a good communication that flows between one department to another department. So if they are unable to communicate, there is no way that we can innovate or even we can deliver a good product or services to the customers. So let us discuss on the communication process first. So there are two parts of the communication process. So the first part between the sender to the receiver, and then the second part between the receiver back to the sender. So first we start with the sender. Sender will encode, will try to think of a message that they want to deliver, and then they will involve in the encoding process, and then they will choose a medium. The medium can be in the form of WhatsApp, email, telephone call, video, and then they will send the message. And then once the receiver receive the message, they will decode. The sender will encode, the receiver will decode the message. And then this is the transmission phase, what we call as the transmission phase between the sender to the receiver. And then we also need to have the feedback phase. Why feedback phase is very important as well? Because you need to confirm on the content of the message. Sometimes we might not have a clear understanding on what are the things that the sender would like us to comprehend. So we need to get confirmation to the sender again in terms of the content of the message that he or she has delivered. So in the feedback phase, now the receiver will become the sender. They will transmit the message, encode. The receiver now will encode the message, choose a proper medium, and then the sender, the process of sender of understanding the message that we delivered back to them is the decoding process lah. And so we can see there are lots of noise. There are lots of noises referring to the disturbances, interruptions that may occur along the way of the communication process. For example, like just now, I was looking at my phone while I was trying to record this video. That is considered also as a noise because it interrupts in terms of the focus that I'm trying to give in delivering this particular video. So these are some of the description. The sender person wishing to share information with some other person. For example, like right now, I'm the sender. I would like to deliver the content of this chapter through video. The message is the information to communicate. So these are all the message, the video itself, the process of me recording this video, the information to communicate. So the slide could become the message. And so this contain the information that I would like to deliver to each and every one of you. The encoding process, the sender translate the message into symbols or language. So this is the encoding process. While I was recording this, while I'm recording this, so this is what we call as the encoding process. And then the noise refers to anything that hampers any stage of the communication process. Like just now, I received a few messages in my phone, so that can be considered as a noise. And then sometimes interruption from someone else while we are trying to create or deliver a message. Sometimes while you are trying to texting to your boss, and then some your friends might interrupt, might say something or talk to you, and you misfocus, lose your focus. So that is part of the noise as well. And then the receiver is the person or group for which the message is intended. For at this example, the receiver would be the students. And then the medium through which an encoded message is transmitted to a receiver. So our medium could be a YouTube channel or YouFuture, in which you can download the video in order for you to get whatever content that I would like to deliver. So once you download the video, that is the decoding process, the critical point where the receiver interprets and tries to make sense of the message. Once you download that video and then you watch the video, that is the process of decoding by you as a receiver. So I hope we are clear about this. And so when we talk about the communication process, the sender will decode. And then once you as the receiver receive the message, and then you try to understand the content of the message, that is the decoding process. For example, when I receive a text in my phone, so once I open that message, that is the decoding process. The medium is the WhatsApp or through the phone channel. So that is part of the communication process. So there are many types of communication process. It could be verbal, non-verbal communication. Verbal is the encoding of messages into words, either written or spoken, like this one. This is what we call as a verbal communication. Non-verbal, the encoding of message by means of facial expressions, body language, and styles of dress. So that is also another important element. So I would like to give you a tip on the communication process. So we need to always remember this tip 7, 38, and 55. Actually, the message that we are trying to deliver, the words that we are trying to use in the communication process only represent 7%. The majority, the 55% of the effective communication lies on the body language, which is on the non-verbal communication. And then the 38% should come on the content of the message. So we tend to think that the words that we use is the most important part of the effective communication. But through research, they have identified that the most important element in the communication process is the nonverbal communication in terms of your facial expression, your body language, the tone of your voice, the styles of the dress, the proximity, how close, or that when we speak to someone else, for some people, when you get too close, they might not feel that comfortable. So those are the things that play an important role in the effective communication process. And then we also need to understand that perception plays also a major role. Perception is the process through which people select, organize, and interpret sensory input to give meaning and order to the world around them, influenced by people's personalities, values, attitudes, and moods, as well as their experience and knowledge. Like in chapters, when we discussed previous chapters, organizing, if I'm not mistaken, where we had that one figure, lady figure, and that old lady figure. And for some people, when they look at that picture, they might see an old lady, but for some people, they might see a young lady. And even though we are referring to the same picture, so it is all about perception. Sometimes when we have developed a certain perception on certain individual, sometimes that perception might influence the way we interpret the messages or the input that we receive from them. And then there might also be biases, the tendencies to use information about others in ways that can result in inaccurate perceptions. For example, stereotypes. Stereotypes are simplified and often inaccurate belief about the characteristics of a particular group of people and can interfere with the encoding and decoding of messages. For example, when you don't like someone because of whatever reason, personal reason, for example, and then sometimes when you receive messages about him or her in our WhatsApp group, and even before we read that message, we have developed a perception or an understanding or biases that this person might be negative about certain things. Even though whatever content that they are trying to deliver is correct for that particular purpose of action, but because of the stereotypes and biases that we have developed against this individual, might interfere in terms of the way that we should understand the content of the message. Information richness and communication media managers and their subordinates can become effective communicators by selecting the appropriate medium for which message. There is no one best medium. Considering information richness, a medium with high richness can carry much more information to aid understanding. Okay, so in order for us to make our learning more effective, so I have chose to do and upload this video in YouTube as well as in YouFuture. Because of why? Because there is no way that I can cover 3 chapters during our 2-hour session. Because during that 2-hour sessions, my students might have questions relating to the assessments, relating to the content material. So what I decided to do is that, yes, this is the best medium. I recorded the video and then I upload in YouTube as well as in YouFuture, so that you can view this video at your own time. Information richness, the amount of information that a communication medium can carry, the extent to which the medium enables the sender and receiver to reach a common understanding. Like before, we thought that using the YouFuture is the best approach, but maybe perhaps it is still a new system. So there are students who are having difficulties in terms of getting access to the YouFuture. So that's why we have decided that we are going to use a YouTube channel. Is also another medium for you to obtain this information. So we are going to stop here first, and then we are going to continue in the next video from here onwards lah. Information richness of communication media. So till then, take care. Assalamualaikum.